Here's a thing that doesn't get talked about much. Most Sentai and Power Ranger fans know that Dairanger took heavy influence from Star Wars for some of its music, but a couple episodes especially took influence as well. First up, Traitor! The three main villains, Shaddam, Gara, and Zydos, receive a visit from a higher-up figure in the Gorma, their organization, Archbishop Rija, also called High Priest in some translations. He introduces them to a new weapon, the Armored Knight Iron Face Choyo. Zydos reacts violently to him and fires an energy projectile at him. Choyo raises his hand and easily deflects it. At first, it doesn't appear to be anything more than establishing the characters, however, knowing how much Star Wars influenced these episodes' plots, I can't help but remember a similar scene in Empire Strikes Back when Vader deflects Han's blaster fire by merely raising his hand. The Star Wars influence continues when Archbishop Riju retaliates against Zydos with lightning from his fingertips. Riju also refers to Choyo as his apprentice, at least in the subtitle. Archbishop Riju is the stand-in for the Emperor, Choyo for Vader. That's not too unusual. Many tokusatsu shows took a lot of influence from Star Wars. Why would this stand out in particular? Well, just wait. There's an implication that Choyo was once on the opposing side to the villains, the Gorma. Our heroes, the Dairangers, encounter Iron-Faced Choyo. They try to use their ki power against him, but discover he can use it too. In addition to energy blasts, he can telepathically throw the Rangers through the air. The music throughout this scene is also very familiar. Choyo splits open the ground, and 3 of the Dairangers fall through. Only Soji, the Blue Ranger, manages to avoid it. Choyo gives them a message to take to their mentor, Master Kaku. He wants Kaku to meet him alone the following day. Ryo arrives too late to help. They take Choyo's message back to Master Kaku. Kaku knows who Choyo is. He was once a warrior, but betrayed his team to the Gorma. Ryo is determined to fight him, but Kaku locks him in a room and insists he must face Choyo himself. He orders Soji to make sure Ryo doesn't leave. Ryo breaks a vase and fools Soji into thinking he escaped through a window. When Soji opens the door to check, Ryo knocks him out and goes out to face Choyo. Choyo is holding the 3 other Dairangers captive. Kaku approaches Choyo. Kaku asks why Choyo betrayed them, and he explains that he wanted true power, mastery over both light and shadow, Ki and Yo, respectively. Master Kaku and Iron-Faced Choyo prepare to battle. Ryo makes it. He tries to free his teammates just as Master Kaku is struck down. He transforms and rushes into battle himself. Choyo easily brushes him aside and prepares to kill him. Master Kaku musters up enough strength to call out that Ryo is his son. Choyo holds back and Ryo is dumbstruck. He thought his father died when he was young. The episode ends here, and similarities to Star Wars aren't overly apparent. Comparison at this point is superficial. However, this is the first of a 2-parter. It's necessary to know the context of who's who and what's what before going into the second part. 2 old masters and former allies battling alone is similar to Vader and Obi-Wan's confrontation in Star Wars. Ryo, being revealed to be the son of the black-armored villain, is definitely inspired by Vader's revelation to Luke in Empire. Like I said, it's superficial, but the next episode is where the similarities really take hold. So next up, Father! Choyo retreats, allowing the Dairangers to escape. At their base, Kaku explains everything he knows to Ryo. Choyo lived as a Gorma after his betrayal, but 2 decades ago, he disguised as a human and married a human woman. They had 2 children, Ryo and his sister. "That's not true! That's impossible!" cries out Ryo, according to the Shout Factory subtitles. Ryo runs away and encounters Choyo. Choyo tells him to leave the Dairangers and join him. Ryo adamantly refuses. Choyo says the next time they meet, he'll kill him. He begins to leave, but Ryo asks him how he could have loved a human. Choyo remains silent and teleports away. At the Gorma base, Archbishop Riju punishes Choyo for failing to kill Ryo by striking him with lightning. Riju then reveals his true form, the monster Archbishop Saw. Ryo returns to his team. He insists Choyo can't be his father, and they'll destroy him like any other monster. Suddenly, Archbishop Saw attacks. The Rangers try to fight him, but he's too strong. He singles out Ryo and strikes him with lightning. From a distance, Choyo watches. He tries to turn away, but when Ryo calls out to his father for help, Choyo turns on Archbishop Riju. He manages to throw Riju off a cliff, but is mortally wounded in the process. He falls, and Ryo runs to his side. Ryo tearfully removes his father's mask, seeing his true face for the first time since he was a child. Choyo finally tells Ryo why he married his mother. Even with his heart corrupted by darkness, he couldn't give up love. He asks Ryo for forgiveness, just as Ryo complies, The spirits of Choyo's past team appear. They and Choyo give the Rangers the power to combine their mecha into Daireno. Choyo departs with his team just as Archbishop Saw revives as a giant. With the power of Daireno, they destroy Archbishop Saw for good. Later, Ryo recalls his memories of his father from his childhood. On previous watches, I missed the obvious parallels between the end of Father and Return of the Jedi. The context, situation, characters, and settings are so different it went right over my head. One night, though, I put in a random DVD on a whim and realized Archbishop Riju/Saw is definitely inspired by the Emperor. He's an older man, not as older looking as the Emperor, though. He has a cackle and likes shooting lightning at people. He dies in a fall, betrayed by his apprentice. He revives as a dumb monster. Toei predicted the future with that one. Choyo is Vader, specifically the pre-prequel fan ideal of Vader. Before the Star Wars prequels, fans conceptualized Vader as being a loving father before turning to the dark side. Choyo's actor, Go Ibuki, even kinda resembles Sebastian Shaw, the guy that plays Vader at the end of Jedi. They both wear black armor, were once good people that betrayed their friends, and have 2 children, a son and a daughter. Ryo is the stand-in for Luke Skywalker. If the subtitles are accurate, he even has some of the same lines. The direction and staging of Ryo coming to his father's side as he lays dying is almost exactly the same as Luke at the side of a dying Anakin Skywalker. What really drives home the comparison are the ghostly spirits appearing to Choyo. That was when I realized they weren't just taking heavy influence from Star Wars, they were straight up trying to remake it. There's a lot of plots Sentai likes to repeat and remake. There's 50 years worth of Sentai at the moment, and 30 years of Power Rangers. Sentai often takes influence and inspiration from its own legacy, but this is a unique example of paying homage to something outside it completely. I really like these episodes, and Dairanger is one of my favorite Sentai series. This has given me a new perspective on Return of the Jedi. Maybe this was an attempt at showing the finale of Jedi from a Japanese point of view. Star Wars and Super Sentai are both fascinating properties to look into, so that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Now, young Skywalker, you will die.